Oh, everybody, and welcome back to Celine, Apoptosis. Alright, let's get back into the game. Last time we ended in the next day. Not the next day, when they went to the store pretty much. With not even the main character, maybe the new main character. It's hard to tell where the story is going right now, but yeah, let's see just how it goes. I spent most of the way to the store in tense silence. A few times even asked something just to make sure Hope was still talking to him. Hope was, though the answers were dry and she never even attempted to make a joke. Not that bad. Blah. Not that bad, even told himself. Not that bad at all. Repeated again and again, and by a little time. But in the end, the anxiety will prevail. It always does. Ethan's mind quickly figured out the owner was trying to trick it, spat out the chewing gum. That moment Ethan got caught in an avalanche of thoughts he didn't want to deal with, and couldn't in his current state. Something had to be done, to be said. But what? Maybe he should actually do something after all? Ethan imagined touching Hope's fingers and immediately saw her pulling the hands back, her eyes glistening. She opens her mouth to ask the question Ethan had no answers to. They'd have to talk, one way or another. Ethan didn't know where to start without burying himself even deeper. He had been thinking about it the whole way, but never came up with anything. The huge supermarket on the next block, a place they had long dubbed the store, was bustling with life despite the rather late hour. As soon as they entered the large glass doors, the tension began to come off on its own. The cards were scarce, but Ethan got them one in exchange for a coupon. Hope gave him a thumbs up with not bad at all expression on her face. The hell? Just give a card in exchange for a coupon? How does that even work? But alright. Hope enthusiastically presented a huge, colorful, utterly ludicrous mug. Even immediately agreed they had to buy it. They tried to find a pair for the mug, but the pudding supermarket employee said it was the last one. They were a little disappointed, but, well, at least that was something. Looking for the mug was the thing that finally did the trick. Now they were huddled together, looking for their favorite treats and arguing about which breakfast cereals are the best. That's how it was, till they reached the meat department. I'll go pick something out before it's all cleared. Hope nodded absently. She was stuck at one of the big fridges in the middle of the hall. Okay, I'll be waiting for you here. The meat shelves were half empty as usual at this hour. Ethan was hoping to find a steak, some minced meat. However, soon forgot about both. There was a girl standing by one of the shelves. It's Celine. Ethan couldn't see her face, only a pale back and a white dress with thin straps, and also the shelf dark hair. Ethan's cheek was stung with cold, as if his face was lying on the shelf in one of those refrigerated display cases. Just between the pork ribs and a lone ribeye, a black polystyrene foam tray. Is that her? Ethan took a few uncertain steps forward, and he backed away, almost knocking over a nice old lady who couldn't even muster an apology. Grabbed the first thing that came to hand, turned out. In the used row of shelves. He tried not to run, because it would have looked too stupid, Ethan explained to himself as he reached the end of the row and peered around the corner. The girl was still picking out meat. Isn't what you're doing stupid now? Sure it is, Ethan agreed with himself. Cold no longer burned his cheek, and the girl seemed quite ordinary. Except she was dressed too lightly for the current weather, but Al was still not considered inquired in any of the states. He even smiled to his own thoughts. Generally speaking, the girl was very attractive, and her lighter clothing allowed one to fully appreciate it. Her thin waist passing into the seductive curve of her hips, and beneath the folds of white fabric, one could make out her rounded buttocks. What are you looking at? You've got a girlfriend? Ben? What? I was asking, broccoli or Brussels sprouts? It's an important decision we might have to make. Hope stood still, two colorful plastic bags in hands, looking at Ethan questioningly, blinked several times, squinting, as if he had just stepped out into the bright light from a darkened room. I need to get back to Hope. Why was he holding a bottle of Thousand Islands dressing? I don't know. I was a little dizzy. Are you alright? Yeah. Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry, I was just lost in thought. Hope tried not to look in the direction Ethan had been focusing on for so long. She really tried, but sometimes trying isn't enough, no matter how much effort you put in. At that very moment, the dark-haired girl's light white dress was floating away from the meat shelves. She must have finally made her choice. I see. For a moment, Ethan thought both colorful plastic bags were about to slap him in the face. Hope just smiled and tossed the bags into the cart. Even heard them crunch loudly as they hit the bottom. Well, let's take both. Variety is the spice of life. What is a man without a zucchini? Yep, good question. They haven't bought any zucchini. Very important detail, by the way. That night, he had another dream about the White Room. The walls were still trembling softly in the cold light. Everything in the room, including the air, was oozing tension, anguishing in anticipation of what was about to happen. And something was really about to happen. No doubt about it. Ethan suddenly realized he was looking at the room from an odd angle. He seemed to be standing on something, but he couldn't feel anything under his feet. No support. He tried to look down, but only saw the shimmering air. He had no legs, and nothing above the missing legs, as if he was not there. Or rather, he was. The shimmering air, the chipped ceiling, and the walls that were still trembling. He was the white sofa standing a little away from the center, and a couple of unremarkable white doors on opposite walls of the room. They were not there the last time. And that could not have been there. Nothing can be done about it now. The doors have appeared, and there's nothing can be done about it now. The light grew dim, not now pulsating noticeably. It was still emanating from the room in its entirety, reflecting from the white walls, but most of all from the twin brow on the wall between two doors that were not supposed to be. For some reason, Ethan tried to catch the rhythm of the light with his breath, yet he couldn't. Ethan tried to catch the rhythm of the light with his breath. Interesting. Okay. There were two figures sitting on the sofa. One fair, the other dark. The dark one came into the room through one of the doors, but Ethan couldn't guess which one. The fair one was Hope. Hope, what are you doing here? You can't be here. If they leave right now, something will happen. The pulse of light became faster. Darkman moved towards Hope and tucked the blonde strand behind her ear. Everything was happening very slowly, as if underwater. There was something odd about the Dark One. Something about it was wrong, but Ethan couldn't guess what. She leaned towards Hope's ear and covered her mouth with her hand, and Hope leaned towards her and listened very carefully, as if they had a mutual secret among themselves. Something was about to happen. They both looked at Ethan, and for Ethan wasn't here, or rather, he was nowhere. Snow White room never existed. And one of them smiled. Dark One's finger slid down Hope's chin, a soft, rounded line. They were no longer looking at Ethan, only at each other, very closely and very slowly, inhaling the light. The Dark One stroked Hope's cheek, and there was no light left between their child lips as they collided. Even so, drops of saliva glistening on the lips. The Dark One licked her lips and raised her tongue to make space for a long black snake that got out of her mouth. The snake swayed, tasted the air with its own tongue, and reached out to Hope. Hope closed her eyes. Now the snake was stroking her cheek, long and black, over and over again, in a spiral, always in a spiral. Hope reached for the band that covered her eyes, and the dark girl reached for her hand, and the fingers intertwined, and the light between the lips melted, as it always happens at sunset. Yet there was no snake, it was just a black ribbon, a poisonous ribbon, covered in scales. The pulse of the room became faster. One of the lamps came into an eclipse. Just a number of faces. That's a clue. Bodies of two girls merged on the red sofa, and his own flesh shaking and shrinking. Ligaments, valves, bones, vessels in places where they came very close to a shabby, wet upholstery. His heart rate became faster, faster, faster. And then something happened. Ethan woke up. His breath was bubbling in his throat. The ceiling above him was flaring with immeasurable darkness. And down below his stomach, he felt a searing heat. The heat was so intense, Ethan had to sneak into the bathroom. His old man used to say he had to ease it off. And not just once, but whooping too. The dad even loomed over the sink and was looking at himself in a small, rectangular mirror for quite a while. At some point his lips started trembling. He even did not wait to see where this was going. He spat into the sink, let the water in for a while, then he turned the lights off. Ethan didn't want morning to come. He didn't want to wake up, to see a hidden grudge in Hope's eyes, to listen to the awkward silence and to seize every opportunity to say a word to break it. But morning did come, and Ethan was in for a surprise. Everything was fine, very much so. Hope got up early to make a superior breakfast, and Ethan was never able to cook, even when he really wanted to. She was talking to him. She was joking. She listed at least 10 places they would go when the schedule became more relaxed. The nightmare seemed to be over. Simply washed away down the drain with the rest of all things excess he used to have in his body. The image was so real that even completely relaxed. At his got down, dazed by the cute nonsense waffles, or cream and delicious Turkish coffee. Then Hope asked a question. Do you think a darker hair color would suit me? coffee suddenly turned solid and stuck in his throat. Even felt as if it wasn't coffee at all, but finally, ground glass. He coughed. What? I put the elbows on the table and sipped from a cup as if nothing had happened. I was just thinking about becoming a brunette. What do you say, huh? I don't know. I'm fine with everything as it is. As long as you like it, I guess. Tiny pieces of glass were still scratching him from the inside. He even tried to clear his throat, but it didn't get much better. But why were you thinking about it? Even struggled to speak. He felt as if he was falling into a pit, and the air was whistling in his ears. Well, one has to change from time to time. Favorite varieties. Good, isn't that right? He took another sip. Besides, I find plenty of dark hair all over the apartment. Not very long, you know, but not too short either. About this length. Even before Hope tapped her neck with the edge of her hand, even knew the hand would stop. And so I thought, like a brunette. Can't believe those hairs are mine. Hope's lips stretched and the corners of her mouth turned up. She wasn't smiling. This isn't happening. This just can't be happening. You must still be asleep. That is a dream. Just a shitty dream and it will end. Now even desperately wanted morning to come, but morning just couldn't come for a second time in a day. Hope leaned back in a chair and looked at him with her hand on one side, a fake smile smoldering on her lips. Something had to be done about it. All of it. Right this moment. Look, something strange is going on. Yeah? You could tell as much. Hope. I'm serious. Something strange is going on and I have no explanations. Neither good nor bad. None at all. Oh, really? Actually, I might have an idea or two. Wait. I'm not saying that yesterday in the store. He even stopped short. Go on. Took a deep breath and closed his eyes. I'm not saying I didn't stare at that girl. I did, and it's obvious. I was trying to. She reminded me of someone, and I was trying to figure out if I was mistaken. I know what it looks like, and it's my fault. Even decided to omit the part about well-rounded buttocks under the light flowing fabric. Not because he wanted to look better, but because he knew it would hurt Hope, and he really didn't want to hurt her. Please forgive me if you can. Did a shitty thing, but I'm really sorry. Put his hand on the table so their finger touched a little. Hope didn't move away. What the fuck? Next time we go shopping, you can set everyone you like. I'll try my best not to cry. Can't promise anything though. Hope winced, but even knew she was hiding a smile. Alright then. But keep in mind, I'll pick the honest ones. I don't stand a chance, do I? He smiled wide and ruffled his hair. Absolutely. And about the hairs, Hope's smile disappeared before the face. I don't know where they came from. Seriously, something wrong here. Ethan, please, I don't want to. No, listen, please. I do think that there's some intruder is getting inside our apartment, somehow. Do you believe me? Hope looked at him for a while. Then she shivered. Damn you, Ethan. Yes, I do believe you. They don't understand how this happens or what they want, but I think it's time to call the police and let them sort it out. It's their job after all. Maybe you should actually call Laura first. I think it's the time. Yes, I'll do that as well. Hope pressed his hand. Let's promise each other we won't go crazy, okay? I also see things. All sorts of things. I mean, sometimes you find hairs, just some damn hairs, and you start questioning everything. You just need to get through this dark time somehow. It will get better. I'm sure it will. Ethan nodded. Yeah. He pressed his hand again and got up from the table. Okay, I have to go now. I'll probably be late and will have to hold up at work today. Will I meet you after? Maybe. I'll call you later, I guess. Hope. I love you. I love you too. Very much. Don't forget to call Laura. No, we're not gonna call her, but yeah, we are nodding absently. Okay, never mind, we did call her. I'm surprised. I would have 100% not called Laura. When the door shut behind Hope, Ethan called Laura. Hope found Laura a long time ago. Seemed like Laura helped her a lot, at least that's what Hope herself said. Ethan didn't know any details nor wanted to, since Hope hadn't told him. After all, psychotherapy is a very personal matter. So personal that Ethan felt as if he was standing naked in the middle of a busy street when he had to describe what was happening to him. Apparently, one can get used to this too, as by the middle of the story, he was sparing no details. To Ethan's surprise when he mentioned the disturbing emails from his contact, they were kind of getting on his nerves. Laura perked up. You're saying you've recently become quite close to your acquaintance. You empathize and try to help him, right? Well, yes. Something like that. And your contact letters contained vivid, disturbing imagery, yes? Imagery that evoked a sudden response from you, is that right? You could say that. The writer, after all. Vivid images are his livelihood. Do you know what induced delusional disorder is, Mr. Harrison? Ethan tried to recall. Definitely read about it, but didn't look into much detail. Is that the thing that explains mass insanity? Like the dancing plague of 1518 in Strasbourg? That's right. This is what is also called folie à deux, or madness for two. Sounds romantic, doesn't it? Laura giggled. Even thought she herself was not all too sane. Or she wasn't. She used to deal with guys like me all the time. But Laura had already returned to her usual tone, calm and measured. This condition causes perfectly healthy people to experience various, let's say, negative effects. It works like this. We have a source of delirium, and those who perceive it, one or more people. You correctly know that sometimes disorder can take on a truly massive scale. There's usually an emotional connection between the victims of this condition. Life is always at risk, unfortunately. Laura paused. Can make a diagnosis in such a format, Mr. Harrison. However, I feel we need to limit contact with your acquaintance, at least for the time being. It might be the source of the unpleasant state you're experiencing. Would you like to make an appointment for a consultation? Ethan politely declined. Laura listened to the rest of what he had to say. He asked what pills Ethan was taking. Ethan wasn't taking any except aspirin, because he had lots of headaches lately. She advised him to reduce the workload, follow the daily routine, and take lightly sedatives if necessary. Something horrible, maybe. About meeting in person, there wasn't much Laura could offer, and even had no energy, time, or money to start the full-on therapy, as Hope called it. Even thanked Laura with all his heart, finished the call, stretched, and took a deep breath that made his ribs ache. Then he smiled. Though no full-on therapy was involved, this conversation still made Ethan feel much better. The reality made sense again. Nothing out of the ordinary was happening. Nothing he couldn't handle. He stretched again and was about to go for another cup of coffee, and his breath, the steady deep breath of a man who's in control, caught in his throat. He even felt the small hairs of his neck standing up. Someone was looking at the back of his head. Ethan turned around slowly. "I'm calling the police." Ethan spoke each word loud and clear. It was a decent plan, an actually decent one. It certainly wasn't funny in any way, and yet the girl sitting on the windowsill, silently laughing, covering white teeth with her hand. The girl from the supermarket, the girl from the dream. She was still wearing a light white dress, even though in the morning the temperature dropped to 53 degrees Fahrenheit and it was going to rain. One of the straps fell down to the side, but the girl was in no hurry to put it back. She swung her crossed legs a little, looking at Ethan from under her brow, with the smile of a childhood, a hilarious mischief in mind. "Let us say something funny." The girl quickly raised her eyes and shrugged slightly, still holding back the smile. Just as before, she did not make a sound. Ethan even assumed she could be mute, but decided to make one last attempt. Just one question, and then he called the cops. "How did you get in here?" It's not the right question. "Who are you?" The girl's eyes became round, and her face turned in a surprised grimace. Overly surprised. Ethan immediately remembered the time when he and Hope came across a couple of street mimes. He poked a thin finger into her chest, which made her tense nipple show up for a second under the thin fabric of her dress. "Me? I am what you're looking for." She spoke slowly, stretching out her vowels and with some kind of delight. Yep, I need a very seductive voice for that. Good luck, Sonny. A moment later, the girl reached for something behind her back, quickly pulled it to her lips, and took a sip. Ethan's throat became tight with blood that abruptly rushed to his head. "Where? How did you get this?" The girl traced Ethan's gesture with a gently surprised look. The next moment she parted her fingers. Hope's huge colorful cup, the one that just got to the store, tingled hurtfully as it struck the floor and shattered to pieces. Just like that. There was a brief moment when the cup was lying peacefully on the floor. Even got enough time to hope it would endure the fall. And then the fragments burst everywhere at once. A furious white light broke out from the inside. But no. That is milk. Just some milk. "You shouldn't have spooked me, you know. Now look what you've done. The poor cup. So broken. So many eeny tiny pieces. There's no way to mend it at all." Ethan was suffocating. "What the hell are you doing here? What do you want from me?" The girl bit her lip and twisted the fallen shoulder strap between fingers. The top of the dress slid even lower. Do you want me to leave? That I may run into hope? Right at the door, even. She forgot her pass and will be here any minute. What will the poor girl think? Girl looked over her shoulder and her face instantly lit up. Oh, it's her. Here she is. Hope is simply amazing. Accurate to a minute. Hello? Hello? The girl turned over on her stomach, leaned on the sill, and waved vigorously to someone invisible. Her dress completely slid down. That bitch. Even more bad, her tits are flashing right through the window. Don't come any closer. I know this game. It looks way worse when you're close to her. Ethan couldn't see it, but he knew he felt that Hope was really standing down there, and she was looking at the window, of course. Although she couldn't see much anymore, the blurry veil covered her eyes. The girl slowly turned around and stared at him with her eyes wide open, without blinking. Her shoulders shook as if she was going to cry, but she was laughing. At first it was a couple of stifled laughs, then it became a laugh to someone who just heard a great shout, gradually turned into wild barking screams. He has to stop it, right now. Ethan wanted to rush to the window, but took just one step and froze in place. The girl must be out of her mind. She's stoned or worse. He might have a syringe and he doesn't want any more problems. He only wants this thing removed from his window sill, welded in a steel box and dumped somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic. He still had his phone in his hand. 911.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
The bitch shrank, hunched, but kept cackling like a pack of coyotes yelping on a moonlit night. She was whiffing with laughter and the pale wax of dry, flabby skin, the shaking in the wind of her movements, her dress looking like a death shroud. He suddenly thought she was much older than he thought at first.
What is going on?
He even looked at her for the last time, a mixture of hate and disgust in his eyes, and turned away, running his fingers through his hair. There's a stranger in my apartment. A woman, most likely on drugs or just insane.
Can you see her right now?
Ethan could see only the wall in front of him, but he heard a deafening howl. It was echoing throughout his skull, beating into his temporal bones like a desperate bird's. Ethan clenched his teeth. Yes.
Does she have a weapon?
Maybe. He threatened me.
Can you leave the apartment?
No. This scum can escape. I don't want her to get. Ethan hesitated.
I can't hear you, sir. What's happening? Speak up, I can't hear you. What is happening?
The terrifying laughter kept echoing in Ethan's ears. There was no one behind him. He approached the window slowly, as if it was happening in a dream. The shards of Hope's cup were scrunched under his feet. Just like before, the window was closed. Even opened it carefully and looked down. He did not see the body. Too good to be true, but he had to check. Only the grey pavement, which gradually turned black, it actually started raining. Even looked across the street, just in time to notice the familiar cream-colored coat disappearing behind the corner of the nearby house. Hope? Hope! Screamed so loud that something snapped in his throat, but she didn't hear him. Or maybe she didn't want to hear. Even called her at least 100 times. Hope didn't answer. Even thought he could come to her office, but eventually decided it would only make things worse. Police were in his apartment. 23 minutes, 40 seconds later. They didn't find any sense of forced entry, and the call recorders even found out later nothing that resembled laughter or howling. No extraneous sound, as the officer said. Hope returned sometime between late at night and early in the morning. The skin on her cheekbones was taut and almost transparent, and there were deep shadows in her eyes. She hadn't slept in a long time. She smelled of strong alcohol. Even went out of the dark room to her, didn't sleep and didn't turn on the light either. Things that lurked in the dark, real or imagined, no longer frightened him. He even wished that something he had been dreading for the past month, only could name the feeling he had, would come out of the greasy blackness of the shadows and snap his neck. But everything in the apartment was mockingly calm, except for even himself. Hope. Hope stared at him in silence, swaying a little. Instead of pupils, she had dark holes. Been thinking a lot about what I would say to you if you came back, but I can't say. Hope's face showed no emotion. Seemed like she didn't even blink. Anyway, I realized that I can only tell the truth no matter how crazy it sounds. But why the cheat, it only gets worse, right? Even gave a short, nervous laugh. Anyway, even had plenty of time to think about what he was going to say, but he still didn't know where to start. Some time ago, I don't remember exactly, I started seeing a girl. Who is she even? I don't know. It's Sophie? Who? Sophie Wolf? The student from that online course on? Hope made a vague gesture with her hand. Oh, movies on the late Victorian era. Even didn't know why he said that, but Hope obediently repeated it in a flat voice. I remember you were really impressed with her. You always liked smart girls. And this one was also beautiful. Hope, this isn't what you think. Think? Who says I think? Thinking's too painful. Wait, hold on. Even disappeared into the room and came back a few minutes later. The darkness of the hallway was diluted by the light of the screen. Hope covered her eyes with her hand, either from the brightness of the screen itself, or because she didn't want to see whatever there was. What is it all about? Here, look. Sophie Wolf. On the screen, in fact, was the profile of Sophie Wolf, student. In the photo, Sophie was squinting, either from the bright sun, because her curly red hair was getting in her eyes. A small brown-haired girl snuggled up to her with a shy smile. They're a nice couple. I remember right at the wedding this year. And who is? I don't know. And honestly, I don't care. Just want her out of my life, but this bitch follows me. Well, she used to follow, but now I don't think I'll ever see her again. Is it good or bad? Hope, please. If you want to leave, I'll understand. But if you're willing to give me a chance, I promise I'll do my best to mend it all. Couldn't really promise, but he was too eager for the nightmare we'll imagine to finally end. No more weird stories. Please, Hope. I don't need anyone but you. You can get. Couldn't finish because Hope kissed him. Her back hit the floor with a thud. The rest of the night actually went fine. Well, even more than that, except for the fact that we were too busy to get any sleep. Whoa. Alright. At least everything was going okay until the moment when instead of Hope's face, just for a moment even saw. Couldn't tell her. He mumbled something about not feeling well, collapsed on his back, panting. Closed his eyes so that Hope wouldn't accidentally catch a glimpse of what he saw. Nothing happened. It wasn't real. It's fine, she understands, said Hope. Something changed. He even sat in front of his laptop staring at the monitor. TV program? How to make the tomato soup. At some point, he had to remove a fingernail, an accident at the factory. She got lost. It's legal, but it's painful still. Trouble comes from the little quacks. Don't tell you at school. No time to cook? Got an answer on the shelf. Tomato soup. Made with fresh tomatoes and I wish you'd never been born. I remember her face. Where's Timo? Let's look for him together. Maybe he's up in the tree chasing the birds. No, I can see him. Maybe he's in the weeds watching the fish. No and no. Let's look some more. Maybe he's on the roadside under the blue plastic bag. He's not there. He's not there. He's not there. He's not there. He is there. The conditions of love. What have we done? I wanted to save you. I wanted to save us both. You fool. That's right, but I just can't lose you. It's too late. Never too late as long as we have each other. Oh, Elijah. Conditions of love. The concave muscles of Persian cats stared back at him. All that was required of Ethan is to call the cat away. It's hard for him to get used to the idea of one of those pop-eyed creatures walking around the apartment. During the day, it will nap where it pleases, and at night sneak into the kitchen to play with the shadows that move by themselves, and its eyes will turn into two saucers of black and green nacre if the light reaches them. Ancient people believed cats could walk between worlds and see spirits. Looking at Persians, even hardly believed they could even breathe on their own. And yet, in this, even Harrison from the 21st century agreed with the ancient people there was something sinister about them. In any case, he should call the cannery for Hope's sake, the sake of them both, since he had made the decision. Even had already picked up the phone, he was about to proceed with the plan when he heard the key turn in the entrance door. Something about that wound him up. It was barely 5 o'clock in the evening, which was, in any way, very early for Hope to be back. Everything was fine, that is. He even closed his laptop and went out into the hallway. For a long time he couldn't say a single word, and when he could speak again, he only managed one question. What have you done? Hope's smile faded, and for the first time in the 4.5 or even 5 years they'd been a couple, Ethan was glad of it. In fact, there was nothing surprising about it, as with the new haircut and the new hair color, Hope looked unbearably, insanely similar to the creature at the window. Hope's lip turned white, trembling. This didn't help, did it? Any of it? You can't love me even now, right? What are you talking about? Isn't it obvious? See how you look at me. You're disgusted. Try your best to touch me as little as possible. And no matter what I do, no matter what I try, it doesn't help. Admit it. You never loved her. You didn't, right, Ethan? She was convenient. And that's about it. Shit makes the flowers grow. The flowers grew so much, didn't they, Ethan? Didn't they? Ethan would never hit his wife. More than that, he would never hit a woman, but what spoke to him was neither his wife nor a woman. It was a nightmare incarnate. The bear had its long, sharp teeth, came to take away his right for a second chance. So Ethan thought at the time. Punch turned out somewhat pathetic. But you have to take into account that wife beating is not a fair-ground attraction. When you hit your wife, probably a mark does not fly up to the highlighted sign, a good one. However, this was only indirectly related to the early Renaissance. Ethan had expertise in the matter. This old man's fist used to which often. If it was something like that, you would know. However, if any sign could light up at a moment, it would say something like, "Scum Ethan." No! Kept repeating that even after Hope stormed out the door in tears. Even barely remembered the following few days. Something seemed to be happening. Some people called him. He himself called a lot. He called Hope. Hope wasn't answering the phone. He knew this would happen. Every time he dialed a number, he knew he'd end up listening to the voicemail signal. It became something of a ritual. He would wake up. Sometimes it was light outside, sometimes dark, but more often it was something grey. He neither could nor would want to identify because of the torn curtains. He'd call Hope. Hope wouldn't answer the phone. He would go to the kitchen and turn the water on, watch the silvery, twisted stream break against the sink for a while. Eventually it put a cap into the stream. Fill it to the brim. Drink. Go to the bathroom. Back to the coach? Pretty sure you were trying to say couch here. Too bad to be true. All of this can be real. Life can crumble into pieces in an instant. Just collapse inwards like a wooden block tower. All life can crumble into pieces in an instant. Trust me. Sadly it can crumble way too fast. Happens so quick. You cannot even watch everything at once on how quick it's happening. It goes too fast. And once you start to realize what's happening, it's already too late. It's already over. Everyone is gone. And you're all alone by yourself. Everyone's gone. Before you even realize. Even couldn't remember the name of that game. Once he and Hope went to sea, he and Hope. Too bad. All of this can't be real. He didn't do anything. Could it be that he didn't do anything? No. He hit Hope. He hit her. The white blood spread across her cheek. It's too dark to see, but even knew how it goes. How could he do that? What happens now? What can happen now? Those thoughts were like a bunch of needles he tried to swallow over and over. Sometimes he managed to briefly forget about them. It would happen when he woke up in the great timelessness, looked at the dirty white ceiling, and didn't remember that even Harrison was. But the pain would always come back. He had a bunch of needles in his throat, and no matter how much water he drank, he couldn't get rid of it. Hope's father shook him up a bit. Not in the sense he could have done it grabbing hold of and lifting off the ground. Hope's father was a tough man, and despite his age, he could have hit Ethan hard. Ethan was afraid of it. At the same time, he wanted it to happen. It would have made everything easier. Maybe even fix it all. Ethan was going over in his head as he stared at the phone screen, displaying a familiar number. Awfully He was awfully scared, yet he answered. Turned out Hope had asked her father to pack up for her. Mr. Mill's voice was flat, maybe a bit uncertain. And worst of all, he wasn't angry. Plunged even into despair. Couldn't get his redemption like this. However, the upcoming visit forced Ethan to gain his senses. Shoved him back into reality like a stream of people pushing one into a crowded subway train. That's where we're gonna end the episode, cause food is ready.